Strasbourg's first railway station was inaugurated in 1841 with the opening of the Strasbourg-Basel line. It was situated far from the city centre in the district of Königshofen, and already in 1846 the move to the city centre was started. A second station was inaugurated in 1852. The French architect Jean-André Veillère stood for the design. It was located along the Kleber Quai, on the site of the current Place des Halles, northeast of the current station. However, already in 1870, the station was partially destroyed by the German shelling of the city. It was rebuilt by the Germans for military purposes and remained in service until 1883. Thereafter, the Weiher station, or Marais Vert, as it was also called, was turned into a covered market that lasted until 1974, when it had to give place to the current commercial complex of Les Halles. The current station is located on the old fortifications in a completely new district of Strasbourg at the time. The architect of the station, Johann Eduard Jacobsthal, was a German professor and principal and one of the most renowned architects of the time. Work began in 1878, and at its inauguration in 1883, the station was the first German public building in Strasbourg, the new capital of the land of Alsace-Lorraine. With its impressive size of 37 hectares, it met the requirements to host an entire army and was well adapted to the requirements of the 20th century without modification. Jacobsthal opted for a two-level station with large underground passages located under the quays. Although it was inaugurated in 1883, the station building we see today was not completed until 1898. The modern station was an expression of Kaiser Wilhelm I's economic and military power and the key role of Strasbourg in the new empire. And at its completion, the premises were equipped with electricity, central heating, and hydraulic hoists to transport luggage to the docks.
The current building we see here is an example of historicist architecture of the Wilhelminian period. Jacobsthal was clearly inspired by the Renaissance style in the design of the facades. In 1900, Erman Eggert, who is a neo-Renaissance style architect and also the architect of the Imperial Palace, added a waiting section and staircase for William II, now known as the Emperor's Room with stained glass windows by the manufacturers Ott Brothers. Now we're looking at the entrance hall. Above the entrance hall, a row of medallions with the coat of arms of the town of Empire Country surrounds the entire building. They are, from the left to the right, Franche-Comté, Alsace, Strasbourg, Lorraine, and Saverne. Now we will look at reliefs, made in 1882. The relief on the left shows the rural population offering fruits of the earth to the enthroned figure of Alsacia, who represents Alsace. In the background, we can see the Cathedral of Strasbourg. The character who carries a barrel puts his foot on an anvil with the name of the sculptor. The relief on the right shows the rural population offering fruits of the earth to the enthroned figure of Lotharingia, who represents the region Lorraine. In the background, we can see the Cathedral of Metz. The name of the sculptor, Otto Geyer, appears under the hat of the young girl. The main hall also used to display two frescoes. Fresco is a technique of mural painting executed upon freshly laid, basically wet lime plaster. This technique has been employed since antiquity and is closely associated with Italian Renaissance painting. By Elmer Natfus, painted in 1885, one depicting Frederick I's arrival in Agnor in 1164, and the other one, as a historical parallel, depicting William I's visit of the fortress Fort Kronprinz in Ausbären, belonging to the fortified belt around Strasbourg on 3rd of May, 1877. The paintings were to celebrate the union of Alsace-Lorraine and Germany. The two works of art, caught in the Old Empire and in the New Empire, were removed in 1918 and have been lost since. Inside the main hall, we can see two larger-than-life statues of female allegorical figures sculpted by Geyer in 1882, representing industry and agriculture. This at the time new railway complex, as previously mentioned, was commensurate with the economic and military power that William I wanted to give to the city. Therefore, in the center hall, framing access to the quays, symbolized this new development of Strasbourg. On the left is the statue of industry. We can see she is holding a small-sized train and has wheel behind her. On the right is the statue of agriculture. She holds a billhook in her right hand and leans on a trunk with bunches of grapes. On the left, she seems to be holding a plough. The entrance hall to the Emperor's Salon, with its staircase on the facade side, was added in 1901 by the architect Hermann Eggert. The rounded corner is provided with a vegetal decoration, and the three bays, separated by columns, are surmounted by an arched pediment, the tympanum of which is decorated with what appears to be two coat of arms of Strasbourg and palm trees. On each side of the base, a pilaster surmounted by a plant decoration supports the pediment. A dolphin adorns the bottom of each of the crawlers of the pediment. The roof is covered by a low dome with a globe at its top. The other facade of the extension has a single semicircular window, without any particular decoration. Access to the hall is through a door to the left of the central avant-cour, which is taking the place of the pre-existing window. Inside, the stairwell is lit by four windows adorned with stained glass. Three of them are grouped together on the facade towards the square. The central one features a silhouette of the city centre with the cathedral, surmounted by the coat of arms of the city, behind which are French flags, indicating that these stained glass windows do not date from the German era or that they have been outed after the World Wars.
A remarkable part of the central station are the salons of the Emperor. The Emperor's rooms are situated on the second floor to the left of the central hall, when coming from the station square. The plans for the salons and their decoration were also made by the same architect as for the station plans, Johann Eduard Jakobshall, around 1883. Originally, there were three large rooms in this suite. First, on the platform side, the Emperor's reception room. Second, on the square side, the Empress's room. And third, also on the square side, the Emperor's. A room for the servants on the quay side and a toilet were accessible from these rooms by crossing an anteroom. The chamber behind led directly to all the rooms in the imperial suite, except for the Empress's salon, for which one had to pass through the Emperor's salon. When Strasbourg was the capital of the former Reichsland Elsass-Lothringen, the apartments were preserved for Prussian majesties. But since 2006, the imperial apartments have been welcoming SNCF customers. The lounges are open to the public holding a frequent traveller card and in possession of an SNCF first-class day ticket. The lounges are also used by important politicians when they travel to Strasbourg. In 2007, the TGV Est was launched. This cut down the travel time between Paris and Strasbourg by over 50%. In preparation for this, and since 2006, Strasbourg-Ville station also became the central hub to connect all other Strasbourgeois public transport. The architect was Jean-Marie Dutilleux. Most particular, the works consisted of establishing a glass roof that covered the entire original facade of the building. This created a complete new space in front of the original building that was underneath a roof now as well. Some details about the glass structure. It is made up of 18 metal arches and consists of 900 glass panels. The evolution of the station does not stop here. By the end of April 2022, the SNCF is planning to develop a top-of-the-range shopping centre. In view of the 20 million passengers per year, Gare de Strasbourg is ready for the future.